Hi friends, thanks for joining me today. Today I am preparing to do a little ancestral work. So for this, I'm going to be making an ancestral candle, and I am going to be making 2 talismans to go along with this. So if you are one of those that does ancestral work, or you're interested in how to maybe do ancestral work, stick around, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. So I'm going to start by making a ground up mixture of herbs. This will include mugwort. Mugwort is known as the mother of herbs. This is going to be deeply tied to lucid dreaming and crossing that veil to communicate with spirits, including our ancestors. So mugwort's going to be a very important ingredient for me in this. I'm going to add some of my dried rosemary. Rosemary is just a classic herb for remembrance. This can also help heal family lineages. It's going to honor those who's passed and just open my mind to those ancestral memories. I am going to add lavender from my garden. This will purify your sacred space you're using for your ancestral work. It's going to bring that very calm, protective, even peaceful energy when you're doing your spirit communication. Because I'll just be honest, not all ancestors are meant to communicate with. Not all ancestors are in our best interest. So I definitely want peaceful, calming ancestors is who I'm going to be communicating with. I'm going to add a pinch of graveyard dirt. This is very specific to my lineage, graveyard dirt. Graveyard dirt is used to anchor ancestral magic. Its potency is going to come from this energy from the dead and the very specific energy of the lineage to where I got it from. Also, remember, if you're working with graveyard dirt, always ask permission and leave an offering where you were. I'm also adding a very personal ingredient to this. This is my hair, so my lineage, my DNA. So yeah, I do keep my hair when I trim it. So I will be putting some clippings of that in there as well for this. You will notice for this type of work, I don't use just any scissors. These scissors are specifically consecrated for magical workings only, and that's what I use them for. Now, just to grind it all up as fine as I can get it, whatever I want. As I'm doing this, I'm always speaking my intentions to every ingredient on what the purpose of this is. Right, now I've got it as fine as I want it. So we're going to start working on the candle part of this. For this, I'm just using a standard, just this white candle. I'm going to start by engraving a few runes or symbols of my choosing on here. I've chosen 2. I am going to use the Othala symbol rune. That one does actually translate, means heritage or homeland. Historically, it symbolizes ancestry, grounded belonging. So to me, that is a great one when doing ancestral work. Also, it represents what's passed down through generations, looking back at like Norse traditions and things like that. I am also going to use the Algiz rune for spiritual connection and protection. That one's a great one also when doing ancestral work. You can also do any other symbol of your choosing. You could even put your last name or a certain lineage on here when you're just inscribing at this point right now. Now that I have the runes that I want, I am going to anoint my candle with some oils. These oils are going to be frankincense. This one's known as just deep spiritual illumination. It's going to be used to purify and invite that higher vibration and just that divine wisdom from my ancestors. I'll be adding cedarwood. Cedarwood, this is going to anchors the physical body while you're doing ancestral work. This is why your spiritual essence can actually reach towards that astral and visit with those ancestors. You're opening that communication. It's going to create stable, grounded connection to your lineage. So to me, cedarwood's really important. A little amber oil, just because it is so deeply connected and intertwined with that ancestral connection, just because of the fossilized origins and just how old amber is, because it's just petrified tree resin. So it has that earthy, old ancestral connection to it. Now we're going to anoint the candle with the herbs that we ground up. You're just going to start rubbing them on there. Again, always speaking out loud what your intention is for this candle, how it's going to connect you with your ancestors, invite them in, the ones that are meant to be invited in. For my ancestral talisman offering, I'm going to fill this small shell. You can use a nutshell or even hollow bones for this, but I'm going to fill it with the same stuff you saw me grind up, and then I'm going to seal it with wax. This will be one I will probably bury out by my front door at my threshold. The other I will keep with me for when I do my ancestral rituals. the purpose of these are great for, it gives your ancestors just a little more, like a beacon of light to find you in your specific lineage. Right, now I do have my shells stuffed with that same ground mixture that I anointed the candle with. I'm going to add to each seashell, you can see these small piece of amber. That is for that ancestral connection. Now remember, you can make yours as personal as you want and what you want in there. I do have an intention sealing wax that I'm going to use. I will light this from my altar candle that you see lit up over here, and then that's what I will use to seal these in. Just sealing all the intention into this. Place the amber in the center. Light still will. And there. Alright, so my ancestral talisman are done. See the amber's inside, everything's sealed. I will use these, like I said, wherever I want to do my ancestral work. So if I'm going to bed, this will be next to my bed before I decide to do my lucid dreaming to connect with the ancestors. If I'm doing my ancestral ritual, this candle's lit, opens the invitation. This will be sitting with that candle. That is just another way for my ancestors to find me. That has my specific lineage attached to the energy. This one I will put out front by my front door. Also another way for any roaming ancestors out there also to find their way to me in the spirit realm. Also, if you have a very specific ancestor that you're wanting to work with and you happen to know where their resting place is, you can leave one of these at their resting place and have the other one with you. Just connect the energetic link between the two, so that way when you do your ancestral work, you are linking to that very specific energy that you are trying to call upon or work with. Guys, I know that was a little bit of a long one, but ancestral work sometimes gotta lay the framework, gotta do the things. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment, reach out. Don't mind talking about this at all. It is one of my favorite things, one of my favorite magics and things to work with is ancestral work. It's probably the one thing that I am most familiar with. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Take what you need from this, leave what does not resonate with you, and have a beautiful day.